So what truly defines a title? A role, especially in spiritual kinds of contexts. Is it just the robes someone wears or maybe the rituals they do? Or is there something much deeper going on? Today, on the deep dive, we're going to try and cut through that surface level. We want to uncover the authentic essence of what it means to be a samaṇ, an ascetic or a monk, going way beyond just how things look on the outside.
That's right. In our deep dive today, it draws from a really ancient and profound text, the Cūḷaassapurasuttaṃ. It's a key part of the Pali Canon. That's the foundational scripture collection
Yeah.
for Theravada Buddhism. So our mission, really, is to pull out the core insights from this text to really get a handle on what genuine spiritual practice and true identity actually mean, and, to see how relevant this ancient wisdom still feels today.
Okay, so the text kicks off with Bhagavan, the Blessed One, talking to his bhikkhus, his monks, right, in a place called Assapura. And he notes that people call them samaṇas, and, well, the monks agree. They see themselves that way, too. So this sets up the big question, the really powerful one the sutta gets into. What is the proper conduct of a samanta, the samanta samicipyapada? What makes that identity real, authentic, and makes their whole undertaking fruitful? And crucially, ensures that the generosity, from people supporting them with robes, food, lodging, medicine, that it actually bears great fruit. It's really about earning that trust, isn't it? Making good on that spiritual claim.
Precisely. Yeah, and at its heart, this is just a timeless look at authenticity. It asks, point blank, how do our actions actually line up with the identity we claim? And that's a question for absolutely anyone, whether they wear robes or not.
Okay, so let's dive into the core of the sutta then. It gets straight into something that might surprise some people. What doesn't make someone a true samana? And as we'll see, the answers here really challenge some common ideas about what spiritual practice looks like from the outside.
Oh, absolutely. The Sutta just lists them out a whole series of internal defilements. And it states very clearly, if these things are not abandoned, you are not truly practicing the proper conduct of a samana. Simple as that. They're called, pretty powerfully, defilements of an ascetic, faults of an ascetic, even stains of an ascetic. And the text says they lead to, well, states of woe and pretty miserable results. Things like greed, ill will, anger, resentment, envy, stinginess, deceit, hypocrisy, evil wishes, and even wrong views.
Wow, it's striking how almost all of those are internal states, aren't they? Does the sutta go into why these specific ones are so critical? Or maybe how you even begin to abandon something like, say, resentment? Because it sounds like the big takeaway here right off the bat is that it's what's inside that counts, which really pushes back against any kind of spiritual materialism or just focusing on the outward show. Makes you think about how we define authenticity, really.
It absolutely does. And while this particular passage doesn't detail the how-to of abandoning them, it hammers home their absence as the key thing. These are seen as the fundamental roadblocks to real spiritual progress. They just universally get in the way of inner peace and wisdom, no matter what you're doing externally. And to really drive that point home, the text uses this very striking analogy, almost chilling, actually. It talks about a dead weapon, double-edged, coated with poison, but wrapped up in a monk's robe.
Whoa, that's a powerful image, almost jarring. Is the text saying external appearances are bad in themselves? Or just not enough without the inner work? Because, yeah, that analogy really paints a picture of someone looking the part but being corrupt, even dangerous inside.
It's not that the external practices are inherently bad, no. It's more that they're just inert. They don't do anything by themselves without that inner change. They aren't the source of purity. And right after that analogy, the Sutta gives this explicit list of external practices, things that, on their own, just are not enough to make you a true saman if those inner defilements are still hanging around. So it's not about just wearing the robes or going naked or being covered in dust and dirt or, ritual bathing in water, living at the root of a tree, living out in the open air, only standing upright, or eating meals in a specific rotation, even reciting mantras or meditating on mantras.
Even mantra meditation.
Yes, even that. Or wearing matted hair. None of these by themselves do the job if the inside isn't clean.
It's almost like the sutta is shouting, don't judge a book by its cover, especially if the cover is a monk's robe. And the text's critical point here is just so profound, isn't it? It says, look, if these external things did automatically purify the mind, well, then wouldn't friends and family be telling everyone to do them? Hey, come on, put on these robes, stand on one leg, grow your hair long, and poof, you're pure, but observation just shows that people doing these things can still be full of greed, anger, hypocrisy, all that stuff. So the practices themselves, they just aren't the defining factor.
That's such a powerful lesson about looking beyond the surface, isn't it? For any practice or identity, really, what does that mean for how we approach our own efforts at self-improvement, maybe?
Well, it's a definite call to look inwards, first and foremost. So, okay, having established what doesn't define a true samaṇa, the sutta then pivots. It paints a clear picture of what does. A bhikkhu is truly practicing the proper conduct of a samaṇa when those internal defilements we listed, the greed, ill will, anger, resentment, all of them, when they're truly abandoned. That, the text makes clear, is the fundamental requirement, non-negotiable.
Okay, let's unpack that. So what happens then? Once these defilements are actually gone, the sutta describes this profound inner journey, right? Like a beautiful sequence of states arising, almost like a chain reaction.
It does, yeah. It says that when you see yourself purified, liberated from those unwholesome states, this deep joy arises pamujai. And from that joy comes rapture piti. Then from rapture, the body calms down to pasambati. And with a calm body, you feel pleasure sukhaliveti. And then with that pleasure, the mind becomes concentrated in samadhyati. It's like this natural snowball effect of inner peace building on itself.
And it doesn't just stop there, does it? This inner purification, it kind of opens the door to cultivating these vast, boundless states of mind, reaching out to the whole world. It's not just personal peace, it becomes bigger than that.
Exactly. It's much more expansive. The text then describes developing the 4 immeasurable states you might know them as, the Brahma Viharas. And these fundamentally reshape your whole relationship with the world. It's about radiating positivity without any limits. It's an active cultivation too, not just a passive feeling. So first there's loving kindness, metta, pervading one direction, then the second, third, fourth, above, below, across, just everywhere. The entire world filled with this boundless, huge, immeasurable mind, free from hostility, free from ill will.
Wow.
Then compassion karo, developed in the exact same boundless way, extending that empathy to absolutely all beings. Followed by sympathetic joy, mudita. Again, same expansive pervasion, genuinely rejoicing in the happiness of others. And finally, equanimity, upekkha, pervading all directions with that same vast, impartial mind, keeping your balance amidst all of life's ups and downs.
And to really hammer home this idea of universal compassion and how accessible it is, the text uses that lovely analogy, the pure pond.
Yes, it's a beautiful image, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a clear, cool, pleasant pond. Beautiful, easy to get to. It can refresh anyone who's weary or thirsty or suffering from the heat. It doesn't matter where they come from, east, west, north, south, any direction.
Right.
In exactly the same way, anyone who has gone forth, taken up the spiritual life from any social background, whether they were kshatriya, brahmana, vaisya, shudra, any other kind of family. If they practice the Dharma Vinaya taught by the Tathagata, by the Buddha, if they develop that loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, they attain inner peace. Aceta vipassana. This, the text declares, this is the proper conduct of a samaṇa. It just breaks down all those societal barriers.
So bringing it all together, what does this mean for us? The sutta seems to build up to this ultimate definition of a true samaṇa, stripping away everything superficial and getting right to the core of what it means to be genuinely liberated.
Precisely. The highest attainment, it says, and this is regardless of family background, is that a true samaṇa is someone who, having gone forth, directly realizes and dwells in the liberation of mind, citta vimukti, and also the liberation by wisdom, panya vimukti, right here in this very life. And how? Through the complete destruction of the defilements, the asavana-kaya. That is the true meaning of being a samaṇa. It's not about birth, not about the outward show at all. It's about achieving that ultimate inner freedom through purification and profound understanding.
Wow, what a journey we've just taken through the Cūḷaassapurasuttaṃ. We've gone from looking at the illusion of external forms, right, to the undeniable power of inner transformation. It's amazing how this ancient wisdom can speak so directly to our modern ideas about authenticity.
Absolutely. And maybe the key takeaway for you listening is this. The true measure of a spiritual practitioner, or really, of anyone just trying to improve themselves, it doesn't lie in the outward displays or what groups you belong to. It lies in that often difficult work of eradicating inner negativities, the greed, the anger, the envy, and the dedicated cultivation of boundless positive qualities like kindness and compassion.
Yeah, it makes you think, in our own lives, where might we be maybe unconsciously prioritizing how things look on the outside? Or, superficial practices, prioritizing those over the deeper, maybe more challenging work of inner change. What truly makes us who we claim to be? This ancient wisdom, it really continues to raise a pretty important question for all of us to chew on, doesn't it?